Good evening, everybody. Good to see all of you. We will be starting another few minutes. I want to, make last minute calls. I want to request all of you to please do make some last minute calls. Call your team, call your friends. Of this 1 hour of, training. And this has been designed in such a way that we all could get some financial knowledge, product knowledge. We all could get some, knowledge on the business model and the business potential. So it's going to be an amazing call today, guys. I'm super excited. But I want you to all to make some last minute calls. Have your notebooks and pens beside you. Starting at a few minutes.
Looking out for all, making sure we.
Awesome. Good to see all of you. And can I have some videos turned on, please? I want to see your beautiful faces, guys. Welcome you all to this, wonderful training, Thursday training. Can you all hear me okay? Am I audible? All good? Awesome. Crazy. So, we will be starting in a minute, and I really want all of your videos to be turned on. If you're not driving or not at work, that gives us more motivation to give you as much as information. And awesome. I see a few people turning on, videos. That's great, guys. I appreciate it. So, so how many of you are excited for today's training? Like all every Thursday. How many of you really learn out of these trainings every week? Like some a new point, a new word, looking at a new person, something like any, thing that's adding value to you. I mean, what I feel at worst times when I was attending these trainings myself when I started this business, or even I don't learn anything. I mean, at the worst case, at some webinars, but what I feel is belonging. What I feel is, the environment. What I feel is, that I am okay. These are all the people that I am in with, and these are all people have the same background stories like me. Oh, am I audible or am I cutting? Is my internet okay? Somebody put it in the chat box maybe.
All good,
I mean,
bro.
it's all good. Awesome. So yeah, so that's what I was feeling initially, that being belonging, being together as a team. I want to start this call with one quote. Like you all know, teamwork is a dream work, right? When you work as a team, all your strengths, all your weaknesses really doesn't matter because you are in a team, right? You could leverage your friend's strengths, right? You could not even look at your weaknesses. So this way, what happens is you could grow and give your 100% potential. You can get your potential out of yourself 100% when you work as a team, and that's what developed us working as a team. 4 years ago I started this business, and just like being consistent, whoever is consistent, like on these calls I was consistent. I was just focusing on day to day, what to do, what are my roles and responsibilities. Nobody used to call me to attend these trainings. I was before the somebody calls me, my trainer, I was on these trainings, video on. I was giving that attention, and importance to this, business, and that's what helped me to grow double and triple the size of my team, size of my income, and everything by God's grace. And we're doing these webinars to help a lot of us, a lot of our team to grow and grow. So I don't want to take more time, but I want to start with few things and then give it to the first speaker, which has beautiful topics that we're going to discuss today. So the main reason I'll tell you all is why are you all on this call, right? I want to tell you something, that to put WFG aside for a minute, put that name beside, right? But why are we all really on this call is to make some income. Do you all agree? Right? To build a better career, maybe to see if this works for us. This passive income, maybe we can make it, or we might not make it if it is for us or not. No, but I'll tell you the number one reason why in today's, looking at the situation outside, why we all should have multiple sources of income, multi-handed income, right? How to have, n number of sources of income as much as you can. Why to not depend on one job or one place where you get income from, right? I was just looking online, you know, uh, I was just going through some websites. Like I didn't type much. I just typed, layoffs happening right now because that's the top trending news right now in the news. You look at this, all these companies like, Intel's mass layoff, 15,000 employees, Tesla's layoffs, Microsoft's layoffs, and tech companies are like crazy. In just August, they have 26,000 employees getting laid off, 9,000 employees, 10,000 employees laid off, 11,000 employees laid off. And the moment they get wake up and log in, and they're laid off. And this is not just in IT but in all the industries outside. So whose mistake you think that this is the problem? I mean, you might blame recession, we might blame the employer, we might blame that ourselves, we didn't upskill, right? Whatever the reasons, what I feel is, it's our reason, we are, I mean, it's always we should take that blame of not having multiple sources of income, or not having multiple things placing to run your show, is what I feel, right? So because when do you think, guys, that you can upscale your life, upscale your income in your life, or upscale your growth? Can anybody answer? Rohit, can you answer if you don't mind? Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Rohit. So when do you think, Rohit, that you want to upgrade your life, as when you have nothing in your life, or when you have something in your life? When do you think you have to
Something.
upgrade your life? It is important.
Yeah, something.
You have something already, right? So we
Yes.
all have some jobs in this country already. Somebody are doing IT jobs, somebody are doing some kind of jobs, whatever. So we are already doing okay in our lives in this country. Now this is a time for all of us to do something better, add more value to our income, add more to our value to our life and all. But what we think is, when you're having a some decent job, what we think, the biggest mistake is, when you have something going on in your life, you don't worry about growth. You just stick to it. You just be very comfortable with what you have. And all of a sudden something come hits it, and you're like, what's happening with my life? The job is gone, the income is gone, no, everything is gone. Now this is the biggest mistake, what I feel, that we're not prepared for these kind of recessions. We're not prepared for these kind of income ups and downs, right? Career ups and downs. So what I think is, we have to be prepared. And the number one reason we're on this call is to be prepared with this opportunity. And I'll tell you why this industry would be the right fit. And I'm going to close with this. This industry, I was just looking at, Bank of America's website. And if you see top 15 recession proof businesses, can you all see what is the first industry which is recession proof? Financial advisors and accountant, financial services. That's what we are doing. And next is child services, healthcare. These are the recession proof. Like no recession can hit us. It's because of the services, because of the important services industry that we are in. No matter what, and everybody have to deal with money. Even in recession, or even in good times or bad times, they have to deal with money. Maybe low money or less money or more money, right? So the next speaker that I'm going to invite is, my dear friend. He started with me when I started this business, but because like a lot of people join these trainings and drop off in between, right? Or drop off after a few weeks, after a few months. just like that, my friend also did drop off me. Like, he left me, quit on this business the very, first few months in this business. And then I was just kept on building my own business, right? Because, one thing in this business is we don't look for everyone. We look for people who's looking for us, right? And how do you find them is when you keep building your business, you find people who's looking for you, right? We're not here to find everybody. We're not here to recruit everybody, right? Not everybody belongs to our tribe, right? So, that's how my friend got started. He quit in between, and he was working in IT, and he quit that job at one point, understanding the markets things that having multiple sources. He started back with me again because he saw me growing. He saw me still playing the game, and he came back and doing wonders in his business. He came full time in his business, and he's building his brokerage. He's building his agency throughout North America. I would like to invite Surya to talk about different kinds of short-term and long-term financial services investments what we deal in this country. And Surya, over to you.
Hi everyone. So good evening everyone. So that was a bit of harsh introduction on me, some kind of a right. So yeah, my name is Surya Adusmalli and I would like to see some excitement. Can you send me some reactions? Like how are you feeling? Some reactions, some chats, like how are you feeling? Great, good, positive, some good words, and some good reactions so that I can get that vibe. I can give you the best out of it of my thing. Right, right, good. So before starting, my name is Surya Adsmali. I'm currently working as a marketing director with my company, building my agency all over North America, right? So it feels good, whenever we connect all of us on Thursday webinar because when back when you used to go to schools, colleges, we didn't went for a to listen to lessons or for the teachers. We all went so that we can meet our friends, have some fun time, right? So only few people would go to colleges to listen to lessons, but I'm not one of them for sure. And I know most of you are also on the same kind. But we so this kind of environment, brings that togetherness, as Santosh said. So directly jumping into my topic today, I'll be discussing today what are the investment types we deal with other than insurances. Right? So how many of you exactly know what kind of investments we deal with? Does everybody know that aware of with that license we can deal with investments, right? So before yes, great. I want some responses, guys, so that I can we can actively. It's I'm not a teacher here, you're not students. I'm not teaching anything here. So let's have a collaborative session, right? So before starting, I want to ask few questions. You don't need to answer me, but answer it for yourself, right? The first question I wanted to ask is, how many of we think that we can handle an emergency when we have an emergency of let's say $2,000 to $3,000? If something came an emergency where it would cost $2,000 to $3,000, how many of us can think that we can handle that without using credit card, without using line of credits, without asking friends, not from this. Other than this, how many of we have savings of $2,000 to $3,000 immediately tonight if we got some emergency? And the first question we need to ask ourselves, right? Second thing, how many of you have a dream to buy a home in Canada? Right? Can somebody raise their hands? Dream of buying a home in Canada? Like, yeah, I see most of their hands are up. People who are not videos on, can you give some reactions? Right? Yes, I can see that. But but how many of we are using RRSPs and FHSs towards that goal? It right? That is the second question we need to ask ourselves. It it might not be some thousand you need to spend, you need to invest $1,000. It can be as small as $20 also per month, right? But how many of we are exactly using that investment tools, right? Third thing, how many of we are promoting, for child education, like plans like RESPs, promoting or talking about, about to our friends, family members, whoever we know in Canada. How many of we are promoting RESPs? Right. So these are the main investments, which I'll be covering today. Right. So let me share my screen. Right. So this will give all the answers, for what all the questions we asked. Right. So but let's look at it TFSA. Please make some notes, guys, so that you can actively teach to your teammates, or you can talk to about very confidently, because once you learn, you can talk to them confidently. A TFSA account, right? If you want to talk to him briefly, it was introduced in 2009, and current limit year for TFSA is $7,000, where nothing but you can contribute up to $7,000 for TFSA account. Before it was $6,200, but they have increased it to $7,000 from past 2 years. And who can contribute to TFSA? Whoever has a valid SIN number and filed taxes at least for an year will be eligible to contribute for TFSA. And you can grow and withdraw the growth with no capital gain taxes. As you know, government has increased the capital gain taxes from 50% to 66% last year. People who has so many a lump sum of $100,000, $50,000, they can invest happily in TFSA so that they can avoid that capital gain taxes of 66%, right? And if you are not using your contribution room for the current financial year, all the contribution room will be carried forward to the next year, so that next year you can contribute $14,000. So that's how TFSA work. And it can be used for both short-term and long-term purposes. And what are the investment options we have is through TFSA is high interest savings account and segregated funds. So those are the investment options through TFSA. So TFSA is nothing but a account type, guys. So on the back end, you have to invest in some kind of a fund or a high interest savings account or a segregated fund. So TFSA is nothing but an account type, right? So now let's look at RRSP. RRSP is nothing but registered retirement savings account. So who can contribute to this? So almost 18, you can contribute up to 18% of your gross income with a maximum limit of $30,000 into RRSP. Again, who has a valid SIN and filed taxes at least for an year will be eligible to contribute to RRSP. And what are the types of RRSPs? Is you have individual RRSP, you have spousal RRSP, you have group RRSPs. There are different types of RRSPs. So whoever is preparing for the license, and you can study deeply about these individual topics during the license. And but you can use it money from RRSP when you are buying a first home, but you have to repay the amount within next 15 years once you withdraw from RRSP. If you are withdrawing it for the first home, you need to repay it back in next 15 years, right? And after retirement, there is a must draw withdrawn amount. At least you have to withdraw a minimum amount from RRSP once you are retired, right? And it can be used for their retirement purpose. Again, what are the investment options we have in RRSP is high interest savings account and segregated funds, right? And what is the other investment we deal with is FHSA. FHSA is nothing but first home savings account. It was recently introduced. It was introduced just 2 years ago on April 1st, 2023. So every individual can contribute up to $8,000 annually and $40,000 lifetime investment. That is a maximum limit that you can contribute to FHSA. And who else who can contribute? Same, who has a valid SIN number, who doesn't own a primary house, because FHSA, guys, is only particularly for the person who is willing to buy their first home in Canada. It's not eligible if you have already have a house in Canada. And you are only eligible when you are trying to buy your first home in Canada. And if it also works the same if you're not using that contribution limit for the first current year, like for the current financial year, it will be carried forward to your next year. So what are the investment options we have? High interest savings account and segregated funds. And we can be grow and withdraw growth with no capital gain taxes to buy your first home. But unlike RRSP, you don't need to repay it again back. So once you have taken it for the first home, that's it, account is done, you need to close it, and there is no repayment such as RRSP, right? So what is the major differences between these three? If we look at in a shortcut, right? TFSA, what is the purpose? TFSA is mainly who are people looking for their emergency funds, maybe for their vacation, for their instead of if they're planning for a vacation or something, go to India, so they can start contribute to TFSA. RRSP is particularly if they're planning to buy a house or for their retirement, people can start suggesting RRSP. And FHSA is purely for only if they're plan to buy a home in Canada in next a few years, you need to suggest RRSP. And what are the tax deductible? TFSA is not tax deductible. What does mean by tax deductible is nothing but you can show whatever your amount you have contributed to this investments, you can show that as a tax expense and write off the taxes on that amount. So TFSA doesn't have tax deductible option, whereas RRSP and FHSA has tax deductible options. And when you're withdrawing the money from these accounts, is it tax free? Yes. TFSA, you can withdraw tax free, but RRSP, other than first home, if you are withdrawing money, it is taxable. And FHSA, yes, it has tax free withdrawals. Again, only if you are using for first home. If not, it is also taxed. And what are the maximum contribution limits for each account? Six, so as I said, $7,000 per year for TFSA, RRSP 18% of your annual income, and FHSA 8,000 per year and $40,000 lifetime, right? And what is RESP? RESP is nothing but Registered Education Savings Plan. It is a savings plan for kids education, because here in North America, people in USA, we call it Child 529. In Canada, we call it RESP, right? Because in North America, children's education is free for 18 years, right? So after that, you need to pay for their undergrad or post graduation. So you can contribute to that, and government also put some grants from their side when you start contributing to RESPs. And the maximum grant you can get it from government is $7,200. And but the only condition is the funds can be used only for education, not for any other purposes. If you are using for any other purposes, the all the investments will be taxed, right? So what are the investment options we have is, if the client is choosing low risk, it means he doesn't want to risk his investment. He has a very short term goal, like he want to buy a house in next 1 year 2 years. So we don't invest their money in a high risk, we invest them in a low risk, like high interest savings account. If you see high interest savings account through IA, we are giving a high interest savings account of if you see a 3.6%, right? So there are other investments, due to lack of time, I couldn't explain more in detail, but you can sit with your trainer and ask what is exactly high interest savings account and what are the investment options through segregated funds, right? But what is if they are willing to take some risk, then we opt for segregated funds. Guys, why are we so special? Why, if when people ask why I need to come invest with you from TFSA, RRSP, FHSA, I can go to a bank and open that. Why I need to come to you? Just ask them a question, say them that we have an option of segregated funds which banks cannot deal with. Banks cannot deal segregated funds. Only insurance companies can deal with segregated funds. Why? With segregated funds, we have a maturity guarantee and death benefit guarantee, right? And we also have creditor protection, which banks doesn't offer. So that is a special quality which you can start as a conversation and make them your client with for their investments, right? So with that, thank you. And I just want to close it in a quick way, like, how do you think all of these are useful, these investment strategies? If not for others, for us, how many of you think it is useful for us? Having some emergency for funds for ourselves. How many for buying a home? How many of you want to come full time into WFG? Want to be in the business, right? So this is, so many people ask me, how do you leave that IT job which was paying $10,000 per month? I was working for Deloitte as a senior DevOps engineer. How can you come full time, right? The, I was I was saving for 2 years. I almost had $30,000 as my funds savings during my job period. When I was working, I always invested in TFSS, RRSP, so that I could take this step and come full time into this business, because I like this business. But there shouldn't be a stage that where 1 month your business might not working, right? But you should not again go in the evening, I want to drive Uber, I want to drive this, so start having some emergency funds, back up yourself, invest small amount so that you can take that brave steps in the future, right? With that, thank you for giving me this opportunity and giving back to MC.
Awesome. Great job, Surya. Big round of applause, guys. He deserves a big round of applause. And thanks a lot for trying to put a lot of information in few minutes that as you have been given, Surya. I know it's hard to learn and understand, these things in 1 hour session, 10 minutes of session, right? Like, that's what sometimes I feel, only like few people are done only 1 hour training in a week for WFG to learn about these businesses, our business and all of that. I feel like, in our college, right? When we go to course, like the course hours is, let's say, 300 hours. Like they tell you, the college tells you, you have to finish 300 hours to finish this course. And you can take as much any time. It's so flexible. You can do 10 hours a day or 20 hours a day. They give you the opportunity. But what if you do 1 hour a day of 300 hours? How many days it's going to take to finish that course? 300 days, right? 1 hour every day, 300 days to finish that course. And what if you do 2 hours a day? 150 days to finish that course. What if you do 3 hours a day? Right? It all depends on how much time you put every day. The course is going to finish that soon. Exactly, WFG is like that too. Somebody who's putting 1 hour a week, they're going to take 1 year to get their first paycheck. Somebody's putting two, hours a week, they're going to take 6 months to get their paycheck. Somebody's putting 3 hours a day, in 3 months their paycheck is going to be with them. No, it exactly, not only this business but anything in the world, you get depending on the time that you put. Do you all agree? Anybody? You all agree? Awesome. So, great job, Surya, once again. And the next speaker, and I want to say one point here. When I was attending these trainings initially, when I was listening to these people, I might not like every speaker, I might not like everybody's accent or whatever. But what I was trying to get out of these trainings initially is, these words like TFSA, RRSP, tax deductible, tax advantages, tax withdrawal, first time home buying. How does this work? When I was getting this information as initially in this business, and I was super excited that I know none of my friends know about them, and most of them know about them, but they don't understand about them in deep of how RRSP works, how to start opening their own RRSP, like no idea, right? So that's what I got confident there. None of my friends know about this. Why don't I start educating them? Right, the number one thing, if you want to take away from this training today, is I want you to all think like, take this business like this. We have to share information and knowledge and awareness to the people without no expectation, like with no expectation. You should have zero expectation when you start sharing this knowledge and providing this awareness to people. The moment you have expectation, and that's where the problem starts, right? So that's the beauty of our business. You can just keep, providing this awareness, spreading this awareness to the people. But before that, you make sure you understand things very clear. And how would you understand things very clear is when you give more time to this business. And without any delay, I'm going to invite our next speaker who's going to talk about amazing topic in our business. That's my favorite part of, building this business, building a team, building, recruiting, all of that. And not many of you, I know, like it, or it might be hard for all of us, and initially we might not have understood what's all of this. But how many of you did watch a movie called Founder on Netflix? Founder. If you haven't, I want you to write this down and start watching a movie, called Founder. It's a true story based on McDonald's, right? So this movie exactly explains you how McDonald's has come up, what was their initial stages, who founded it, and who, multiplied their locations. You understand that, and you understand the biggest concept going in your, in the world right now, that's called distribution, right? Increasing your franchises, franchisor, franchisee, you would learn all these things in that movie. But, our beloved speaker, Akhil, is going to take you through all of this amazing topic of founder and franchisee. And he's an amazing guy building some great business throughout North America. And Akhil, please do take over, brother.
Thank you so much, Santosh, for that. Happy to see all of you, all the 56 people on the call on a Thursday evening. It's when I see all these people, I was thinking 2 years before when I was starting this business, because what would I have done if there's no WFG 2 years before? That's what I always think at this time. Either I'll be in a drive-through taking some orders, or I'll be in a warehouse, doing something, or I used to do security. I'll be some concierge sitting in the reception. I always used to think about this thing 2 years before what, but after coming into WFG, the thought process have changed. My vision have changed. It has enlarged to a bigger level. Anyway, so happy to see all the champions sitting here to learn and understand about this business, to build big. I know all of you have a fire inside, to be a massive entrepreneurs, to be a massive founders in this industry. And yes, we have the infrastructure for all of you to build that in this business. when I started to attend these meetings, let me start with this concept. I'll say in the first 3 to 4 months of starting this business, starting from 2022, I was just sitting in these meetings because Santosh called me. Whenever he texts me, bro, he just texts me, bro. I was like, bro, I'm in the meeting. It's all good. I'm gonna enter. I just want to make sure that I'm in the meeting. I don't listen to the meetings. I don't pay much attention to the meetings. I don't take any notes. In a way, what I realized is anyway, I'm spending my 1 hour of time into those trainings, right? So what I just was talking to myself is, let me try to pay some attention. Simple. That's what I just talked to myself. There's anyway, I'm investing 1 hour of time. Let me, it was intentional for me. I was like, let me just put some attention to it. Let me see how this can help me. Doing that a week has changed my concept to a next level. I attended 3 trainings with full attentions. I had my notebook and my pen. I took so much of notes that helped me throughout, and I took it as a habit. Moving forward from there, all the trainings, I took it as a habit to write down notes and to understand what the speakers are telling. As exactly Santosh was mentioning, even that word TFSA, non-registered funds, high interest savings, all those things started to make sense for me how to pitch to people. Because many of the time what exactly happens is we don't know how to place our products and opportunity to people. It's mainly because we don't pay much attention to these trainings, and that is a simple fact. There is 57 people including me on the call, and that is a straight fact. The only reason why we are not able to bring this opportunity to people, or we don't know how exactly to put forward the products or services what we have, is because we don't have an idea how to place it. And let me tell the secret, guys, this training is a solution. You can sit with your trainer one-on-one for 100 session, but you don't get the clarity what people tell you in these trainings, right? Okay, so without any further ado, I'm going to jump into my topic here. As Santosh was mentioning, it's about building a business and understanding the vision of a franchisee and a franchisor, right? I'm not going to use so much of hard words here, but I want all of your guys' attention here. I'm going to make sure that this is very simple. All of you guys understand in the best possible way, but I want all of you guys attention here. Laser focus for next 10 minutes. I'm going to make sure that you guys understand this concept and you will be able to relate this. Also, you guys can we all can put it to our new recruits and our upcoming people into this business, right? Because it's a very serious concept. This is like a bloodline to this business what we are trying to build up, right? So I was doing a research before talking to you guys. So the first research I was done was because many of the time, as Santosh was mentioning, we are so fond of MACD's example, right? So I thought I will start with that as well, the MACD's example. So Santosh, you can allow me to share my screen. Yeah. So I was just searching this thing here. What is the average cost of owning a McDonald's franchisee? I was just looking this thing right here. So you guys can see here. You can read out here what is the cost. So an average McDonald's cost a minimum of 500,000 available in liquid asset with 45,000 franchise fees. That means we are looking between close to 1.3 to 2.3 million dollars in investments. Okay, this is like a core investment. 2.3 million dollars is a core investment. It is the best kind of an area, location, and everything. That is a core investment. So I was like looking into the way that any normal person, it's very hard to raise a capital of 2.3 million dollars because we need to have an asset of $500,000 in liquid, also $45,000 as a franchisee fees. And I was thinking this fact, it's not an easy task for a normal individual to start a franchise. It's not easy, right? And I was thinking, okay, say for example, somebody invested 500,000 and they raised up a capital of 1.3 million or 2 million. It's all good. Somebody started that. What I can expect out of it? What is a profit I can make? And again, I searched on Google, what is a net profit of an MACD? Net profit, right? And again, it comes to the fact that if you are investing 2.9, prime location, prime investment, and prime censorship all around the location, you can expect close to $290,000 per year in a location. That's a net profit. Investing $2.9 million into a prime location, what you can expect is close to $290,000. Guys, I was very mind blown, reading this data. This kind of an investment you're doing into startup franchisee, and this is what you can expect. And people do it. People have multiple franchises. There is so much of, I'm talking about McDonald's, even Harvey's, Starbucks, Walmart, or any of the serious, any of the big chains, what you see outside, they cost a lot. And if you see one of the successful franchise model is McDonald's in the world itself is McDonald's, and they are only making $290,000, making an investment of $3 million. I'm not want to talk about the other investments in franchisees. Let me just make you understand what is in our hand. That is, I want you guys to give an understanding. We always go and tell people, oh, these people are making so much money. They have franchises, they have stores, they have so much things. Let me just talk about what exactly we have in our hand in terms of WFG, right? I'll just make you guys understand through this very simple concept here. We all know that, say for example, doctors or engineers, or in a way, what do you call pilots, lawyers, in a way, all these professions, in a way, in our mind, we know that they make so much of money. Yeah, they're in the doctor field, they're in the pilot, he's a lawyer, they make so much of money. I want you guys to understand this one simple fact. All of these people just have 24 hours in their life, in a day. Like they have 24 hours. The maximum they can work in a day take as 12 hours. Even if they are making $100 per hour, they can make $1,200. That's it per day. That is the maximum, right? And it's very hard for that thing also. So 12 hours is the maximum anybody can, in any profession, these people can work out of a 24 hours a day. Now let me show you guys an example how ownership exactly works, and I'm going to connect that to our business. Let's take the same example, right? We love McD. Imagine this is a McDonald's franchise. Okay, I want you guys to understand this very clearly because this is a very serious concept that we apply in our business. Say for example, we have close to 8 people working in an opening shift, right? This franchise is opening an opening shift of 10 hours. So it's a total 10-hour opening shift and 8 people are working there. Imagine this fact, guys. If this 8 people only have 10 hours in a day, in one day, they can only make up to a 10 hours of time. This franchisee has a owner. Okay, he owns a franchisee who has invested maybe $1 to $2 million to start a franchise. Now let's take an amount of what these people are making in terms of a bi-weekly paycheck, right? So the basic pay, I'm going to calculate it in basic pay. So what's a bi-weekly? It's close to 14 days. They make close to, say for example, $1,200. Imagine in 14 days, they make a paycheck of $1,200 in a bi-weekly for the employees. Now let me talk about the owner. So if you talk about the owner, in 14 days, what exactly happened is these people having close to 80 hours in a bi-weekly, and this owner is also having 80 hours. I'm not telling anything about it, it's 80 hours. The owner is also making $1,200. But the only fact that we need to understand is this $1,200 for the owner is made in a day. This $1,200, this employees are making in 14 days. This $1,200, the owner is making in a day. So the option is ours. We can choose. Do you want to make $1,200 working 14 days, or do we want to make $1,200 working in a single day? The only reason, let me tell you guys, the only reason why the owner is able to make that $1,200 per day is because he has something called as an ownership. This is one of the important part I want you guys to understand. The moment we have ownership over something, we don't work for per hour value. We start to increase our hours. We never go for per hour value. What is the common talks among us? You just talk about, you just take your 5 friends example around you. What is the common talk? Oh, I'm going to switch my job. They're going to pay me $20 per hour. Oh, I'm going to switch my job here because, they're just paying me 13. They're going to pay me $15. Nobody will tell that he's going to give me 100 hours a day. Have you ever heard that conversation? Oh, if I go there, he's going to give me 150 hours a day. Nobody's going to talk that. That is because we have something called as an ownership in our hand. Now, let me show you how exactly this can be connected to our business in a proper way, right? So we understood this MACD's example, as I was telling, in a way, how the investment is, how the cost and everything is. In our business, when somebody starts with $169, that is the registration fees, we have the same potential to make that kind of a profit with less time. And this is mind blown for me when I was preparing this. $169, what exactly happening is we are preparing ourselves to be a franchise. We are preparing ourselves to be a location in this business. to understand one thing. You can go talk to anybody, you can go ask in the office. I just want you guys to understand what is a minimum cash flow any senior marketing director can have. And if I take an average of our office, it's close to 50 to $250,000. 50,000 to $250,000 is an average cash flow of any SMD in our office. And this is an average. I know people who have made $750,000 as an SMD, right? It's mainly because as an SMD, you guys have a power of ownership in this business, as well as we ourselves are a location, we are a franchise. Now comes the best part. Now here comes the best, beautiful part. When we are a franchise, what we look up to, building more franchises. Okay, one location myself as an SMD, which is giving me $100,000 revenue as an average. What if I can build more franchises? Guys, it's a very important understanding because outside, everybody believes in multi-handed income, but they doesn't have an option to attach their ideology to get somewhere they get a multi-handed income. Here we have something in our hand that has a huge capacity, which is giving you a multi-handed income, right? So I want you guys to understand this thing very deeply. I want you guys to fight for your SMD within next 6 months, 3 months, or 1 year, because that's gonna pay you big time in terms of being a franchise. Now let me tell you how it helps in terms of building franchises. Imagine you have built another SMD in the team. Guys, even if you wait for 5 years or 6 years or 7 years, it's still worth it. Let me explain you how. When you build another SMD, a senior marketing director in your team, what exactly happens is the average production or the very average production of any senior marketing director team is close to $250,000 points. In a way, the total points what they're producing. You can calculate the minimum of 12% override. That's close to $30,000. You are getting an override from one location. Just from one location, a minimum points of $250,000. $250,000 is a very average. People are producing more than $500,000 in a SMD based shop. Even if you calculate $250,000, $30,000 with a 12% override you're getting. Imagine you're having 3 franchises and you are getting 30,000 each. That means just in overrides, guys, just in overrides, you guys are making close to $100,000 just in overrides from a year, just from 3 franchises, and the cost is $169. Or maybe you can take up to, with examination and everything, you can take up to maybe a $700, a total investment. And this is what you look at. Just by owning 3 franchises, you're getting an override. It's a free override. Plus, on top of this, you have your personal overrides plus your personal income. I'm just talking about 3 franchises here, guys. Imagine improving those franchises. And this $100,000 override is the least I calculated just by sitting at home, right? And I want you to guys to understand one thing. It's all about what mentality we have. A guy who is investing close to $1.9 million has to take care of paperwork, has to take care of payroll. He has to do taxation. He has to open the store. He has to look for inventories. There is so much of things that is involved if you even invest $1.9 million into a franchisee. And you ask any of the people in WFG what except the paperwork that we do, which is already preset that we do in this business. There is none, right? So we don't have half of the headache in this business. That is why we can grow this business with a peace of mind. As I always mention, this is an underrated business. People are not starting is just because they don't have an initial capital to raise that up. That is a simple reason, right? So I hope up to become an SMD in this business, because that is going to pay you big time. Also to create more franchises, because you can easily be the best example in town, in your family, in your locality, that you have a founder mentality, you don't have an agent mentality. Because many of the times we work as an agent, we just run behind paycheck. No promotion is going to come help us. No, what you call, locations is going to come into our head. Always, even if you are struggling, that's fine. Have a founder mentality. That's going to build big for you. With that, I hope I provide some values. Back to you, Santosh. Thank you.
Awesome, great job, Akhil. Amazing job, by putting up, a lot of information like in a few minutes. But if you all understand, guys, that's an amazing topic. Like, I wish I could just take that importance and things because the number one reason problem in our business is sometimes our clarity. It's not people, it's not nobody's understanding, nobody's listening. It's about our own clarity, and that ties up to our own confidence. Our own clarity ties up to our own confidence, and that implies everywhere that people can see how confident are you, people can see how clarity do you have in this business and all. Now if you look at standard people on these calls in this business consistently regularly, there who has clarity, there who has confidence, that's how it is, right? So the number one thing is starting up. But I want to share one thing, Akhil. I just went to a restaurant owner last Friday. I was sitting with one of the restaurants, Indian restaurants owner here, and they own a few franchises, right? So they bought a couple of franchises, all of that. And only one thing, I just went and spoke to him, and he's in this country from 15 years, right? In this country from 15 years, and he have heard WFG multiple times. There's nothing new that he has to hear from me. And of course, I took an appointment with him, and I said, I want to meet you. I want to talk to you about something important. And he's like, okay, let's meet, let's catch up. And then I went and sat down, and the very thing I said, I'm not going to talk about WFG. And he said, I know, I've heard about WFG already, and this is not my cup of tea. But I said, okay, let's put WFG beside, let's not talk about WFG. Only one thing, I draw a structure. I drew a structure, and that structure many people hate outside or don't understand outside. I just drew this thing. I just drew this thing, and I just asked him. I drew on the paper and said, bro, which one do you like? Do you like this one or do you like this one? And what do you think he said? He
For the
liked this
second
one,
one, yeah.
right? He
Mhm.
like, yeah, he likes this one. He said he likes this one. I said, why do you like that one? And he's very smart guy. He manages a couple of franchises like this in a restaurant industry, and he wants to open more like this, right? But I said, which one do you like? And this one, he said. And I literally told him, why? Because you make here people make royalties, dividends, and capital gains, and here people make salaries, or commissions, or margins. This is one thing, and I added few more information to it, like how it can be done in our business, because people know WFG, people don't understand WFG, right? If you think that this person already know about WFG, that means he doesn't get started with you, is a wrong thing, right? So because they don't connect with everybody, or they forget things, or they don't understand exactly. And he said, I'm in. And I didn't even ask him to get started. And he's like, yeah, now I understood what, now it makes sense why you guys doing it all now. And he's in the business. No, that's the beauty. Why I went to WFG? Because people think that okay, just recruiting, it's a joining people business. But when you have no clarity, you get scared. But you have 100% clarity, you scare people with the kind of huge business, with the kind of. But I don't want to take more time, and I hope you all understood. And I would like to put up a recognition slides, and gives goosebumps for all of us every week. These people are doing some amazing job in our business. Give me 1 second. September 9th. Yeah, I want all of you to please do clap for this champions who's doing some amazing things in this business. 1 second. Guys, I want to see all of you clapping. Let's cheer up for these champions. Awesome. So proud of these champions. A big round of applause, guys, once again. I see a lot of superstars rising up, in this business. And just saying about one thing, and I'm gonna hand it over to our closing speaker. He's an amazing guy. But before that, I was just saying something. We're not looking for everybody, right? We're looking for somebody who's looking for us, right? It makes much sense when I say this. I have not, I have a different education background, and I was working in call centers and all, and I got this opportunity. I started building it, and everything. But I never thought I would get some serious people in this business. But I was serious though, but I was not believing, and I would get serious people. But I gave my 100% to this business, and I was just looking in this, opportunity, and this guy I met through my friend's friend. And while we were tap rooting, getting into unknown market, I found this guy, and he makes over $100,000 at his job, and he's an aeronautical engineer. And I know how hard it is, to be an aeronautical engineer, and what kind of passion these industry people usually contain towards their industry and all that. But this guy understood the opportunity, quit his job. He was living in Quebec. He moved himself to Kitchener, just to build this business. And I was so happy because he's part of my team, and I was getting some serious player. But before that, I was thanking myself for being serious in this business, for being consistent, committed to this business. Like I said again, this is not for everybody. No, we're not looking for everybody, but whoever needs us, those are the ones we're looking at. And you attract those kind of people, doesn't matter they're in Montreal or they're in different country too, right? You attract those people as depending on yours, your mindset and your clarity. And this human, this person is going to talk about few important things about business, and he's going to take over, and he's going to close our call today. And please take over.
Thank you so much, Santosh, for the introduction. So when he was introducing me, I kind of totally related the reason behind I left my job. And before I start my topic, I want to ask a few questions. Is there anyone who wants to work in WG for free, or who doesn't want to make a money over here? I don't see anyone raising the hand. But what's happening is that we are not progressing that much because we are lacking an urgency, right? And second thing I want to ask is, all of a sudden, if the same question the Surya asked, all of a sudden there is an emergency. What kind of cash flow do you have in your bank account? Right? Why I'm asking this question is, everybody right now, whether it's in North America or anywhere, they're running behind a paycheck to paycheck cycle, right? And is there any way utilizing the time that you have can make an additional source of income? Have you ever given a thought about it? Right? And many people, when I talk to them, they say, I want to open a catering service at home. I want to open a restaurant. It's all good, but what's happening is that when you start those kind of things, you're leaving your full-time job. But what's the privilege that we have with WFG is, you work your full-time job, make an additional $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, depending on how much time commitment you're giving to this business. Right? I'm going to give a brief detail. Is anyone interested to make a minimum of $4,000 in this business? Anyone? I see many hands raising up. Is there anyone interested to make, like Rahul, Santosh, like Akhil, like Swaroop, Surya, they are making big chunk of money. Is there anyone interested to become an owner and make that kind of income? Right? I'm going to talk about those things today. And let me share the screen. All right. Are you guys able to see this whiteboard? Right. So what are the two things that we discuss mainly in WFG? What are the two things that we educate? The first thing that we educate is single-handed income to multi-handed income, right? And second thing we educate is 10% of income putting aside, right? I'm going to talk in detail how these things are working with us. Are we doing it? Whenever I'm putting it on a paper, ask yourself, is it useful for me? Then you're going to realize how important it is, right? So when coming to single-handed income, whenever I wanted to talk about this, even now in the call, there are many people who are working in IT for the past 7 years, 10 years, 15 years. But ask yourself, how much wealth do you have created? All of a sudden, you want to retire today. Do you have minimum of 200, 300, or $500,000 sitting in your bank account at the moment? Do you know what's the reason that you don't have it? It's because of a single-handed income. Why? Because single-handed income is dependent on you and it disappears with you. So there is nothing that you can leave to your family other than debts. Now ask yourself a question. Do you want to leave your family a big debt or a bigger asset? Right? Over here, what I want to say is whether you take a McDonald's, whether you take anything, Tim Hortons, Starbucks, or any kind of restaurant business, ask yourself this question. Are these people very passionate about making hamburgers? Are these people very passionate about making coffees? What are they passionate about is they are passionate about multi-handed income. They don't care what the product is. They don't care what services they are doing. What they are doing is they are building their financial services or they are building their own business. In the same way, right now in financial services, what we are doing is we are building our own franchises. We are building our own income. We are building our own business. Now people come to me and say, bro, I'm not good at sales. I'm not good at finance. I'm not good at talking to people. Even I'm not good at talking to people. When I started this business, I used to shiver even to talk to one person. And today, throughout the journey, what it made is I'm able to cope up with it because it's an experience that I have got it. Because I'll give a small example. When I started my job, I didn't know how to inculcate everything, how to talk to my manager, what are the things that I have to do. But ongoing during the time of probation, I learned what it is required for the job. In the same way, from the point of training associate till the time of associate, what's happening is that you're getting trained for your next position. From associate to MD, you're getting trained for the next position. But at that point of time, what we do is we give distractions to ourselves. And we don't spend proper time thinking that, oh, I got my license now. I don't need to attend the trainings. Whenever you have a mindset of, I don't want to attend the trainings, ask this question to yourself. All of a sudden, if you have a team of 10, 15 people, and they're asking your help to some other topic, can you be able to manage it? And it's not possible because we are in a mindset, I don't need a training right now because I'm licensed. Right? And next philosophy that we talk about is 10% of your paycheck. Right? What do we do with this 10% of a paycheck is we create wealth. And what does these people working in 7 years, 10 years, 15 years in other industries, they couldn't create the wealth. But what we are trying to teach people is we are creating that wealth. And with that wealth, where can they use that wealth? Maybe kids' education, maybe retirement, maybe their income protection, maybe their generational wealth. It can be anything. Now ask yourself one question. Is this single-handed income or multi-handed income is only for Akhil? Is only for Santosh? Or is it for me as well? I'm in the same industry. I invested same $150. I got the same license. Is it for me or not? If it is for me, what it is required to go for the next position? Right? Now, what it is required is set up a few appointments. Now, again, when coming to the appointments, many people say to me, bro, I don't know how to talk to people. Now, you're telling me, set up an appointments. The point of creating an appointment is you not talking to them. It is your trainer who is sitting with you, is taking you to the next position, next thing, right? And what's happening with that is that without even you knowing that, you are traveling a journey with him. Imagine I'm going to Quebec. I don't know the route. I'm sitting with my friend. What is going to happen is that my friend knows the route and I'm learning the route. I'll take this example. I don't know how to ride a car, but I'm sitting with my friend. What is he doing is he's driving a car and I'm learning the car. The same way, what is your trainer is doing is with the help of your license, he is guiding you how to talk to people in a simple way. But again, in the point of creating these appointments, make sure that you have this license in your hand. Because many people, when you talk to outside world, many people say this is about joining people. With joining people, we don't get a single penny, right? And what didn't they understand is they didn't understand the multi-handed to single-handed to multi-handed income. They didn't understand the passive income. They didn't understand the royalties, right? And now, once you have a license, what is your next goal? Right now, again, take an example of going to Quebec. Quebec is a long distance. What are the steps you have to take it? Go to Ontario. There are few en routes, take a rest, go to Quebec. Then in between, get down the 401 West, 401 East, then go to Quebec. That's the way. Simple thing. But if you don't know the route, you will be confused. Now, what is the next position you have to know? Is it associate? Is it MD? Is it SMD? All right, now you have a route. You have a goal. But what you have to do is divide that goal into subparts. Doesn't matter how big your goal is. Don't be afraid of creating a bigger goal. Once you have a goal, start working on it. Right now, let me ask, maybe I need an audience here. Akhil, if you can unmute.
Yes, bro.
So right now you're talking about McDonald's, right? Let's take that example. On an average, if I have a one McDonald's, how much income can I make if it is an average McDonald's net profit?
According to the data, is close to a 250,000.
250,000, right? If I invest 3 million,
Yes.
if I invest lesser money, maybe 100K,
Yes.
right? And if I want to make it to $1 million, what should I do, Akhil?
You have to increase the investment and locations.
Locations, basically locations, right? That means on an average, if one McD is making 100K, that means I need to have 10 locations.
Yes.
Right? If you see here, guys, the main thing that they are doing is they are creating the locations in a simple way. The ownership, the locations. In the same way, what I am doing is each license I have is a location for me. Right now, I have a location in Vancouver. Right now, I have a location in Nova Scotia. I have 4 of them. I have in Ontario 4 of them. What's happening is that without me being supervising them, it is all growing and I'm having a probability of making a passive income. Right? In the same way, let's do into financial service into WFG. As Akhil mentioned, an SMD makes per year 100K. Am I right, Akhil? That's what you mentioned, right?
Yes.
If I want to make $1 million, what should I do, Akhil?
We need to have 10 SMDs in the team.
Beautiful. The same as thing. What I am doing is I am becoming a location, then I'm creating a location. Right? The day you have 3 SMDs, guys, you make 250K passive income. The day you have 6 SMDs, you make 500K. The day you have 9 SMDs, you have $1 million. Simple logic. Now this is all fine. Bro, I'm not interested in doing the location thing, but I want to be an agent. It's fine. I'm going to show you how to make that. Right now, I'm talking about a single-handed income and a multi-handed income. Right? If a person is not interested in doing a multi-handed income, let me show you. If I sit with a family, on an average, they save around $500. on an average, and it takes me 3 to 4 hours to help them to understand, to help them to put savings, and for me to make money. By doing this, as an associate, I make around $4,000. In 4 hours, let's take 10 hours, I'm making $4,000. If you are comparing by per hour, I'm making $400 per hour. If you can show me anywhere in North America is a person getting paid per hour $400, I will leave my position and I can come over there. Now the same thing, what I can do is, now I'm making $4,000, but I want to make $10,000 in a month. How can I do it? The same way I got my license, I helped two other people to get the license. And they are doing the same $500. What's happening is that multi-handed income is created to me. Simple logic. The same logic the McDonald's is having. When you have multiple locations, I'm making passive income. The same logic, the financial services, if you have the same multiple licenses, you are making a multi-handed income. Simple logic. Right? And now to make it more easy, I'll put it in an easier way. If an associate may help a family per week or any friend, we have 4 weeks in a month. If you concentrate every week, $150. Akhil, if I ask you a question, how easy is it to sit with a friend or a family member and help to save $150?
It's not a big deal.
Right now, it's been for you and for me, it's almost 2 years, right? On an average, the clients you have, how much do they have saved
Like per client,
per client?
average is 150 to 200.
150 to 200. I'm taking the minimum. If an associate does this $150, he makes around $1,000 per week. If an MD is doing the same $150, he's making $1,500 per week. If an SMD is doing the same thing, he's getting $2,000 per week. And we have 4 weeks in a month. Do it 4 times. Do it 4 times. You have your full-time income in less than what you are spending in the full-time job. Simple logic is, there's nothing rocket science. It's a simple logic. Every week, $150 savings. That's going to bring you the market. That's going to bring you the team. That's going to bring the momentum in yourself as well. Right? And currently we have a Mexico competition going on from September and October. If you qualify for that, the company is sponsoring you for the Mexico trip. And all we have to do is 6 recruits in total, 30,000 points, and 2 licenses. This is the criteria that we have at the moment. And if you are building in USA, it's very much easier for you to qualify for the licenses. And right now, Rajapaji has introduced the critical illness license as well, which is a half license, which is very, very much easier for us to get the license onboarded. Right? And you have your SMDs, you have your trainers, they are very much open to guide you in the process. Right? Let's all go for Mexico and get that thing winning spirit back. Thank you so much, guys.
Awesome, great job, Akhilesh, and thank you so much for your valuable information. A big round of applause, guys. And yeah, with that, I know we're closing our today's webinar, and I want all of you to please do something for yourself to grow your business. In a week, by the time we see you all on next Thursday, I want you all to ask yourself, what are you going to implement? What are you going to take one step ahead in your business for yourself to grow in this business, right? And with that, have a wonderful day. God bless you all. Take care. Bye.